Usually, I think I spend the bulk of my time on projects, researching on the subject that each of these projects is about. So I think I draw a lot of references from different fields that I'm interested in. Again, I think this is driven purely by just curiosity. Um, so my work draws from philosophy, from art history, from pop culture, um, and from paintings, which I'm always something that I've been very interested in. Um, in a way, I see what I do as an attempt to arrange, to process all these different kinds of input and to redistribute them into different fields of presentation. Um, but at the same time, I think a lot of my work also comes out from my being in Singapore, being a Singaporean, growing up in Singapore. Uh, Sometimes I think Singapore is a force that affects me in ways that I might not be able to comprehend fully in a conscious way, even though it's something I think about all the time. So, I mean, the unique kind of like cultural mix in Singapore, I think it's a big influence for me. I am never really at home in any culture or any language. So all languages are like foreign to me. Basically, I'm homeless in a house of language. I do not have a house of language. So all these mixtures form a big part of my work. Since 2009, almost all of the works that I've been producing have no more text in them. There's no more language. I've often wondered why this is so. Again, it was not something that was planned by conscious design. But in 2009, I did make a feature-length film where the main protagonist was mute. So he communicated only by writing on a notepad to the other characters in the film. So maybe after I shot the feature film, all my videos became mute. So maybe I was affected or infected somehow by the protagonist from my own film. But sometimes I think it was also interesting for me to somehow seal up one's mouth so that one can no longer speak, so that one has to communicate through other means. For me, sound is always the secret of films. Sometimes I think about sound as being the soul, and the image is simply the flesh, and it's the soul that animates the flesh. Just as sometimes we think it's the human voice that really animates our bodies. Yeah, and if we look at the role of clouds in paintings, I think clouds play a very important role. I think in a lot of classical paintings, the vanishing point is anchored in a distant horizon, which is usually filled with clouds. It is almost as though perspective is anchored on something that is most fluid and unstable. And if we look at the tradition of Chinese ink paintings, the way in which clouds are depicted is literally by not depicting it, to let the sort of the virgin white pureness of the scroll shine through from beneath the black ink. But at the same time, of course, if we think about this empty white surface, for me as an artist who works with projections and screens, I think about the screen, the whiteness of pure whiteness of clouds is for me related to this empty surface, which is the screen, on which images and desires are projected. Pretty much in the same way as how perhaps all of us at one time or another look at clouds which are formless in the skies, and we project our own imagination upon the clouds, and we see things in clouds. We see shapes or faces or um, landscapes, in this ever-changing clouds. So, but clouds also come together with its own web of associations. In a lot of Western paintings, for example, the presence of the cloud is sometimes it symbolizes the presence of the divine. So particularly when you have clouds that are indoors. So for example, if you have a cloud that erupts within a room, it is usually like a portal to another dimension. So angels come through the clouds, and but these occurrences could also be the sign of madness, of course, of hallucinations. Yeah. So clouds is something that I think for me it's very much related to images and the work of producing and projecting images.